Sharkie Gamer here. Welcome to episode 6 of Prototypes and Unreleased Controllers. So in today's episode we're taking a look at the Scratch Deck DJ Controller. So this was going to be released for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 and PC. It was going to be made by Numark, a company that normally makes high quality DJ equipment. This would be their first DJ unit especially designed for a game. The game was going to be called Scratch the Ultimate DJ, and was going to be the game that makes you focus on being a DJ and scratching to make tracks, using the MPC pads to match beats, and also using a crossfader for effects and changing sounds. The game was advertised to be the best and most realistic DJ game ever, and in the beginning it was meant to be released before DJ Hero. So let's take a look at some screenshots of the game, as well as a more detailed look at the controller. These are some screenshots of Scratch the Ultimate DJ game. The game doesn't stand out too much at all, and the graphics are pretty average, especially for something that is supposed to be the most realistic DJ game made. This is the Numark Scratch Deck Controller that was to be released with the game. I have to admit it looks cool, and with it being made by Numark, I wonder if you could have used it for actually mixing on PC, so it would have perhaps have doubled as a MIDI controller. This is the turntable part of the controller. It would have spun both ways, and notice it also has a bit of a grip around the edges, as well as on the turntable itself, so you could easily stop it and then spin it again with little effort. And because it looks like a record, it gives you an impression that you are scratching just like a real DJ. These 5 buttons are actually MPC pads. MPC used to stand for MIDI Production Center. Now it's Music Production Controller. They usually function as drum pads, and most cases are made of rubber and are velocity sensitive. Considering this controller is made by Numark, I would say the MPC pads would have been a good quality and may have been made of rubber as well. In this controller, each pad was assigned to a sample. When you press the pads, they play that sample even when not required. This allowed and gave players opportunity to create actual music with the controller, rather than just emulating actions in the background track. This is the Crossfader, a small lever that allows you to move it left and right, fading from one sound to another. This was used in tracks to change the sound and effects. Down here it's got a D-pad, and moving up the top it's got a home button as well as start select buttons. This controller could have been used by either right or left-handers. Just flip the controller around and you are ready to go. Now most times all we have is stock images of the controller, but luckily this time we have photos of an actual prototype unit. It was played when the game and controller were close to being released. So this guy is playing with the controller with the game. As you can see, one hand is on the turntable and the other is hovering over the MPC pads and crossfader. So these are some close-ups of the controller. It's silver, and you can actually see it looks like it would have been very high quality. The turntable looks nice. You can also see that the MPC pads are rubber here, and not just standard buttons. And the crossfader looks easy to access and slide. On the bottom of the controller, it has rubber feet so it does not slide over whatever surface you put it on. Overall, it looks like a pretty cool controller. This is another image of the controller being played, and you can tell that the color is now more of a muted grey than the silver we saw in the previous images. So that image was from the official trailer. Now this trailer advertises both the Numark Scratch Deck as well as Scratch the Ultimate DJ game, and it also shows gameplay, and it's not often we get to see a prototype controller in action. So let's take a look at that trailer now.
For the last 18 months, the Numark design team has been working on a new gaming interface. This controller, built from the ground up by our engineers, is the first and only legitimate DJ controller for video gamers. Scratch Deck. Numark has been making turntables since the 1970s, and we're still leading the way today. Gamers will appreciate that know-how when they use the Scratch Deck turntable, because it has the same precise response as our professional Numark turntables. turntable is built around sophisticated technology that keeps your scratches in the sweet spot of the sample. Scratching can happen anywhere, not just in the freestyle sections of the game. And the better you scratch, the more you'll ignite the dance floor. If you use the turntable and the crossfader together, you can score points by performing hundreds of scratch techniques. These aren't tricks we just made up. They're real scratches heard every night in clubs, which means you can build skills that'll transfer over to any DJ setup. Making hip-hop music takes more than just a turntable and a crossfader. You also need to make beats, and there's no single piece of gear more closely associated with hip-hop music production than the Akai Pro MPC. In the hands of artists like Dr. Dre, Black Eyed Peas, and Pete Rock, MPCs have been used to create the backbone for hip-hop's biggest tracks. That's why our engineers built MPC drum pads right into Scratch Deck, giving your hands the true feel of hip-hop. As your skills develop, you can even add your own beats over the top of any song. And as long as you're on beat, you'll score extra points. During the design process, we experimented with different sizes, but in the end, we made the controller wide enough to fit comfortably across your knees. Turn it over, and you'll see 4 big non-slip pads that give the controller traction on any surface. We also designed Scratch Deck to be completely flippable. So whether you're more comfortable scratching with your right hand or your left, Scratch Deck can accommodate your needs. That completes our tour of Scratch Deck. But we'll close with another quick look at Scratch, the ultimate DJ, coming soon to PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Scratch Deck. Get your hands on the music.
So that was the trailer, and it covered both the Scratch Deck controller as well as gameplay from the game Scratch the Ultimate DJ. Now the controller looked like it was high quality and looked like it would be pretty nice to play in the game. I think it would also be quite nice to use on PC as a MIDI controller. The game, Scratch the Ultimate DJ, doesn't really stand out to me. It looks plain and generic. It surely does not look like the Ultimate DJ game as they advertise. In my opinion, still the best DJ game, even today, is the Beatmania series. And I'm sure all you guys out there that are Beatmania fans will agree with me. Beatmania was, without a doubt, the best DJ game they've ever made. Now, Scratch Deck Controller, as well as Scratch the Ultimate DJ game, were never released. Now I'm going to try to get this right. I'm going to go through some dates and explain why the game and the controller never came to be. It was originally announced to be released on September 2009, before DJ Hero, which was going to be released on October 27, 2009. The release was eventually delayed to an early 2010 release. Developer 7 Studios was bought by Activision in early 2009. Now remember, Activision was releasing DJ Hero. On April 15, 2009, publishers of Scratch, Genius Products, and Numark sued against developers 7 Studios and Activision. The lawsuit stated that Activision had purchased 7 Studios to gain access to proprietary technology, to delay the release of the game so that DJ Hero could come out first. And this started the battle between Genius Products and 7 Studios on who got to complete the game. After the lawsuit, a new developer was announced called Bedlam Games. On May 26, 2010, Numark announced the game was coming to Windows, as well as a portable version for iPhone and iPad. On September 2011, Bedlam Games laid off 90% of its staff and later shut its doors. Since Bedlam closed, there has been no sign of the game or controller ever seen the light of day. As of June 2011, the Scratch website no longer exists. So that was why the game and controller never got released. It basically came down to a legal battle between developers. And of course, there were a lot of accusations thrown at Activision. Whether these were true or not is unclear. But what we do know, the Scratch the Ultimate DJ game, as well as the Scratch Deck controller, never got released. But DJ Hero, made by Activision, went ahead and released on schedule. The game, Scratch the Ultimate DJ, I don't think that was any loss. It kind of looked plain and generic, nothing really fantastic. But I think the controller, the Numark Scratch Deck, was a loss. It looked cool, it looked like it was quality built. I mean, it's made by Numark, a renowned quality audio equipment manufacturer, and of course it would have been cool if it doubled as a MIDI controller that you can connect to PC. But that was the Numark Scratch Deck Controller, a cool looking DJ controller that was never released. Thanks for watching, guys. I am Sharkie Gamer. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll have heaps more gaming controller and accessory videos up very shortly. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you want to, and of course if you like this video, hit that like button. Really helps out a lot, guys. Thanks for watching.